I've gotten a lot of messages of people asking me what's the point of lethal attack. In case you guys don't know, what lethal attack does is it gives you 10% more damage, and it also makes it so that if the opponent is blocking, that really doesn't negate any damage that you will be doing. So lethal attack goes right through block. However, that's only the damage. Only the damage will go right through. It will not break the block, and it will not, reset the combo meter, and it does not go through defense either. It's just that if the opponent is blocking, the damage will go right through it. Just the damage. I just wanted to clarify that because I know that some people get a little bit confused about that. Also, the 10% of damage that you get from lethal attacks also stacks on top of crit damage. Now, I think the main question a lot of people have is that we have 3 different types of damages that we normally use. So number 1 is crit chance and crit damage. Number 2 is attack, and number 3 is lethal. What's the point of having lethal when we can just add attack, or what's the point of attack when we can all add lethal? Nobody really questions what's the point of crit chance or crit damage, because that does insane amounts of damage. So crit chance and crit damage is number 1. But in terms of attack and lethal attack, why would you go with regular attack? Okay, so first of all, with regular attack, you don't really have to worry about, it triggering. It's there. There is no chance for it. You just add more attack to your character and they will be doing more damage. Whereas with lethal, it stops at 60% of a chance. And again, because there is a chance, you kind of have to be a little bit hopeful that, it will trigger. Also, on top of that, the number 1 reason why a lot of people just go with regular attack is because you can add more than 10% of damage with your attack. Obviously, it depends on the character. I can't give you a specific number, but usually 99% of the time when you have a damage dealer, adding more attack is just the way to go, because that will give you more than 10%, which is more than the lethal. And unfortunately, on top of that, the second part about lethal that makes it so quote unquote great, which is the part where it can go right through block, also isn't really that special, because you can just wait until the AI is vulnerable and then go ahead and hit him. And if you have attack and you wait for that vulnerable part, well then in that scenario, which is 99% of the time what's going to happen, you're going to be doing far more damage. The only time where lethal is actually a really good option is if characters get bonuses for having lethal, like for example the Batman Ninja team. However, overall, and this is the second question that I usually get about lethal attack, which is why is it in the game? Overall, I think the reason why it's in the game is just to make things a little bit more complicated. I mean, when you give more characters more different options, it's really hard to know which is the best build. And so people are going to have to spend more time, figuring out what's the right combination, especially if you're a newer player. So maybe, and I'm not saying this as a fact, it's just, that's what it looks like when I first look at it. Maybe it's just like a business thing for NetherRealm, where they can make a little bit more money by adding, for example, more things into the rotation. The more things that are in the rotation when you want to change your gear talents, like for example, lethal attack, the harder it is to get what you want. And also, again, I already went over, newer players not really sure about which thing they should get, so maybe they might go to lethal, and then maybe in the future they're going to have to change that, which means they're going to be wasting their gear reforges. So that's my best guess as to why it's in the game. I know it makes me sound kind of like a conspiracy theorist, because I'm like, oh, they're planning this and they're planning that, but in reality, when you compare Injustice 1 to Injustice 2, it kind of does make sense, because there's so many things that they complicated with Injustice 2 that just are really questionable. Like, why would they add defense, for example? Why would they add armor pierce? Why didn't we just use the same health stat like we did with Injustice 1 and just make health stats ridiculously high? That simplifies things far more, and it also takes away some things from the rotation. Like, for example, when you're going to go change your character's talents, not gear talents, just regular talents, you have a chance of going through defense stats and also going through armor piercing stats, which fill up all those spaces, and it's going to be harder for you to get things. So I don't know. My best guess is just that complicating things might make NetherRealm a little bit more money. But again, that's just my theory. I just wanted to make this really quick video clearing things up for people that had these questions, because I've been getting a lot of those recently, especially in my Instagram. I hope this clarified things out and it helped you guys out a little bit. Don't forget to stay safe and stay clean, and I'll see you guys later.